Happy Hump Day. Welcome to the Morning Sprint. My name is Jaffney Gray. Thanks for waking up with us. If you're getting your day started, if you're already taking the kids to school, whatever you're doing, thanks for clicking us on because we are talking about some topics that you guys are talking about online, about the trendy little things and sometimes the call to action where we all can step in to make life better for someone who's going through a hard time. But before we get into all that, I want to give you guys a teaser of the thing that boiled my blood when it first came out. We finally are down to the case, the bottom of the case, and that's all thanks to our reporter, Sydney Jacksheimer. She anchors as well. So check this out. So basically, you remember this whole situation out in Rockbridge County of these people stealing this beautiful Great Pyrenees dog. There's Briscoe right there. Either way, we finally got the details behind it. I know a lot of people were just like me. I'm just like, well, what happened? Did they know him? What? Who got arrested? Then randomly he just up and was discovered wandering around, quote unquote, wandering around. So yeah, we got the whole tea behind what all went into this particular deal and how 4 people were arrested, and I'm so happy about it. We'll get into that later on in the sprint. But for right now, like I mentioned, kind of a call to action right now. You already know it's hard trying to collect blood, especially in those situations that it is needed the most. Well, we got a warning from the American Red Cross right now who, get this, they already supplied 40% of the nation's blood, but they've declared an emergency shortage right now in supplies. They need an additional 8,000 blood donations each week in January to keep up with the hospital demand. Low blood supplies impact surgeries, cancer treatments, and other emergencies. The Red Cross says that the number of people donating blood in the U.S. has fallen by about 40% over the last 2 decades.
There's no way to get blood from anywhere besides a donor's arm, and that blood that you donate could be used to save the life of somebody who's been in a car accident. It could be used to help save a newborn baby, or it could be used to help get a cancer patient through their treatment.
Anyone interested in donating blood can make an appointment with the Red Cross. We actually are having our own station blood drive happening on the 31st because, again, the need is there. And if you can give blood, you would just be amazed at how many lives it can save. I've covered so many different stories of children who've had these severe illnesses and diseases that requires blood but can't get it, and they have to wait because there's not enough donations. We all knew during the pandemic things were going crazy with all the different situations there. You know, when there is like a gunshot victim of something like that, blood is always needed. So if you guys have it in your heart, please try to find a way to figure out how you can donate to help get those supplies back up, because if the American Red Cross is declaring an emergency, that's how you know things are pretty serious. All right, moving on. Another call to action. We remember the story about the firefighter who unfortunately was diagnosed with a very devastating diagnosis. The New River Valley and beyond, they're rallying behind the same firefighter to try to make sure that his family is well taken care of should he pass away. Heaven forbid. I know they say his cancer is terminal, but you never know what God will do. So Saturday, the Radford Fire and EMS will hold a benefit breakfast and raffle drawing in support of Jeremy Compton. Dedicated public servant, husband and father, has been fighting cancer for 3 years now, but now it's spread throughout his body and is considered terminal.
He needs us there for him, and it's tough for him to try to work. I mean, this is a pretty demanding job physically, so he can't really work, but we're trying to help him out any way we can.
So last month, his colleagues shaved their heads as a show of support during his treatment, and they've also set up a Venmo account and organized a T-shirt drive to help offset the cost of medical expenses. The event this Saturday runs from 8 a.m. until noon at the Radford Fire Department. So if you guys can, do what you can to get out there, try to see how we can all contribute and help out, get those donations going, because again, the medical expenses, while we're trying to, and while he's still fighting this, that is still happening. You know, I wish if we had a perfect world, we lived in a world where that stuff could just be cleared and covered, especially for public service, you know, especially for our firemen and our army men and women, you know. So either way, this is one of those situations where it's going to take a village. And I think that if you guys get out and help him at least throughout this time. You know, again, you never know what God can do and what He will do. But if anything, this awful, awful situation has brought everybody together in the community as one. And it is a blessing and inspiring to see that. So if you guys can, please get out there, help figure out a way you can donate. You go to our website, this article on our website right now at WSLS.com to check it out. So there's this thing called mom guilt. I have never been a mother other than dogs, but I know a lot of people just like, that don't count as kids. I don't, I'm not trying to put them in the same category because I know a child is way more, requires a lot more attention, all this extra stuff. I have a dog named Bo. I'm a dog mom, I would say. But there's a thing called mom guilt with people who have actual children, where apparently women feel some type of way when they have to take time or they put schedule time for themselves in their own schedule. I hate that this is a thing because that time is needed. Says that Dr. Melissa Young with Cleveland Clinic, they say that having this feeling of guiltiness shouldn't stop mothers from dedicating some time to themselves. She says self-care is important for both your mental health and physical health. Doing things like going for a walk, taking a nice long bath, or spending some time with friends can help you relax. So again, if you got to factor some time in your schedule for yourself, that is, I always recommend that. I know that you'll see those funny videos where parents typically go to the bathroom to kind of get away from the chaos of their children. I think it's a beautiful thing because I already know it's going to be something that they're going to be able to laugh about one day. Again, I have never had to be, I can only speak from the perspective of a dog mom. And Bo, when he was a puppy, he was something else. And no, I never had time to myself. And I would always, if anything, anytime he went to sleep, I was like, thank you, so I can only imagine how that is with a child. But having that time to yourself, if you do need to take that relaxation period. And again, that helps the kid as well, because you don't need to be cramped with all this stress, all this chaos in one moment, because some parents blow up at their children out of that frustration and that exhaustion. So if anything, don't feel guilty for taking time to yourself. Go do your thing. Have that recharge. If it's a walk, again, if it's a nap, if it's a long bath, that sounds great. Even if you're single without kids, do what you got to do to at least balance your mental health. And like I said, I know that's probably easier said than done, but I am one that says, don't feel guilty about taking time for yourself. Only if you're doing something that is irresponsible enough that it impacts your parenting. But if you take just a simple thing, a walk or something like that, don't feel guilty about that. Do your thing, man. You're a human being at the end of the day. Let's get into this weather, man. We have a weather authority alert day today, and it's not because of the rain. It's not because of the snow and all that mess that we had this past weekend. But get this, it's because of the wind. And we do have some snow flurries still making their way or making their presence known throughout our area. So let's get to meteorologist Chris Michaels to give us at least some more details about our hump day forecast.
Hey there, guys. Happy Friday. Sorry.
Hold on. Wrong video. Here we go. I got the wrong video. Anyways, it's a weather authority alert day, and we are going over several different things. Sorry about that. If you guys don't know this, again, this is live. We always go through different takes every single day, and apparently I must have loaded the wrong one in the system, but I will definitely give you guys the update because I was sitting with him all day today. Chris, I love you to death. Please don't hate me for that. But so basically it's going to be cold today. Got to keep that app handy. Make sure you're weather aware because, again, things are looking a little windy today. Make sure you got your trash cans and stuff tied down. Anything outside could get a little crazy. But he did say tomorrow is also going to be a beautiful day as well. So you're going to have these temperatures, the wind and all that stuff. Just make sure you follow our app. And also keep in mind the flooding and all that stuff is also something that we are watching today. There's a lot of different places that have been impacted from yesterday's rain because it rained basically 24/7. So it rained a lot. The flood came in and some places are still impacted by that. If you looked at the map right now, you will notice that there's a lot of different little roads that have been closed due to that flooding just to protect people. And if you guys are in that situation, again, turn around, don't drown, don't get yourself in a bad situation. I think I remember reading one thing that they did say as far as advice goes. If you find yourself hydroplaning, take it easy, slow it down, wait till you can feel your tires hit the pavement and hit the pavement, and then hit the brakes a little bit, So either way, there's a lot of things out there for you guys to know. Please be safe. Again, download our 10 News apps and our weather app so that you guys will know exactly what to look forward to as far as the weather, all right? So right now, guys, we are getting into this 10 News exclusive. Sydney Jackstimer did her thing, man. She's been following this since day one. We all saw the viral video of people were sharing it like crazy. Of this family, like you see the image right here. This family trying to coax this dog to get in the car, gets him in the car, and then just drives off. That is the scariest thing I think any pet owner would ever imagine happening to their household or to their family pet. But then later on, we were just like, okay, so what happened? Then all of a sudden, we got another update saying that the dog was found down the street wandering, basically. And we were just like, okay, so what happens to the people? And then it was just so hush-hush up until the break in the case that we got yesterday. So I'm going to play this full story, the full package, so you guys can see exactly what went down and how crazy this got. And then we're going to go to the comment section because you guys had a lot to say after being happy that 4 people, not the 2 that you saw, 4 people got in trouble for this awful, awful crime. So check it out. Cindy Jackstimer got it right now.
Shocking surveillance video shared by the Rockbridge County Sheriff's Office shows Briscoe, a white Great Pyrenees, being stolen right out of his owner's front yard. 2 women, later identified as Emily Hill and Alice Palmer, were seen taking the dog. Both have since been charged with multiple felonies.
Do we know the suspect's intentions of what they were planning to do with taking this dog?
So again, it's still an ongoing investigation, so we can't speak about it too much. But what I can say is I do believe that they didn't mean to harm the animal in any way.
Hours after the dog was stolen, 2 men, later identified as Dane Gabris and Daniel Fierro, returned Briscoe to his owners after they say they found the dog wandering in Natural Bridge. But deputies later determined their story was not true.
Through the investigation, we were able to identify that that was a lie, that they actually, in fact, did not find the dog off 11, and that they had connections to the 2 females that stole the dog.
Briscoe is back with his family.
As a dog owner myself, I see this and I'm scared to ever let my dog out of my sight. What are some tips for some people to make sure this doesn't happen to them or that it can have a good ending like this case did?
Microchipping is a big thing. That's a way to, make sure that even if your dog does get lost and you don't recognize it, other people are able to recognize who your dog belongs to. Cameras, like in this case.
In Rockbridge County, I'm Sydney Jackstimer, 10 News, working for you.
So that was, of course, the package. Like this, we got some technical difficulties happening here. Either way, happy that those people got caught, and it's bizarre that the 4 individuals got busted for it. You had the 2 women, I guess, were the start of the situation, and then the 2 dudes that came later trying to act like they were going to surrender them, and then have it all gone. They were part of the whole deal as well. So let's get to the comment section to give you guys what y'all had to say about this. Again, I am forever happy that this was all solved and, narrowed down. But let's get to the comment section to show you what you guys had to say. All right, so again, this is dealing with Bristow. He, very precious Great Pyrenees dog, was kidnapped. We call it kidnapped, but dog napped essentially. And we were all wondering what happened. Like, what was the details behind this? What's the story? Some people are still trying to say, like, I still need to know the whole story and the motive and all that good stuff. We don't know that just yet. But, fortunately, 4 people were arrested, put in custody because of this crime. Nancy says, please prosecute these people. Not only did they steal the dog, but then left it in an abandoned and dangerous situation. Horrible. That is 100% true. Then, check this one out right here. This is coming from Gail. Gail says they all need to get the maximum sentence. And hopefully they will learn a slap on the wrist and they will do it again. I agree with that. And I think that you just got to set that standard, because some people, they will see that the punishment is not as extreme. Now, granted, I'm not a lawyer. I'm not in the justice system or anything like that. I'm just speaking specifically from just a viewer standpoint. Something needs to be done to make sure this does not happen again and that it doesn't inspire copycats. I do not like seeing stuff like this because people think that they can get away with it because they think the justice system is just going to let them walk just because it's a dog. No, it's property at the end of the day. And then this particular comment comes in as well. It says, this is coming from Barry. Barry says, some folks may have a hard time understanding the severity of this. Dogs and other pets become part of our families. They are guardians, companions, cheese tax collectors, and 1,000 other things. They mean the world to us. To take a dog like this is no less than kidnapping and should be treated as such. I'm assuming that's a picture of his as well. But also, a lot of people are on board with Barry, saying that amen. A lot of people are in agreement with him. And that's understandable because, again, when you mess with an animal, it's so funny because people don't play about their animals. They don't play about that. Children, animals, or the elderly, that's my biggest deals. Like, you get me fired up about something, those are the things that it will deal with. But thank God justice was served. Let's get to Jazzy Jazz real quick. Jazz, how you doing? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, girl. How you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I am good. So I'm so happy we got to the bottom of this case. Like, what do you think about that? Because I know it was going crazy online.
Yeah, we had a lot of pages for that story, and people were just interested in where the dogs were. And then when they were returned safely, they were just wondering what even happened, what were the details surrounding it. So I'm really glad that we had the opportunity just to bring people more aware and also play a role in just bringing the dog safely back to its owners. For me personally, that's a really scary story of someone just stealing someone's pet like that, because people don't realize that it's not just a dog at the end of the day, it's a part of someone's family, and just being a dog mom myself, it just worries me that people are out here just stealing people's pets and not really even having a real reason behind it. Like, of course, there's no justification of doing something like that, but we never really had like an explanation as to why these people decided to steal their pet. And I'm very happy that the dog was returned to them safely and unharmed, because sometimes that isn't the case. But I can only imagine the worry that they felt, especially since it happened so close to Christmas, and why do that so close to a holiday? Like, why are you putting worry in people when it's not necessary? So I'm glad these people were charged so that they can see that there are consequences for their actions, and it isn't just a dog at the end of the day. And I hope they take this and just learn from it. Because we're all human and make mistakes, but you have to learn from those mistakes too. And at the end of the day, I'm just glad the dog is safe and back with its owners. Because I know for me personally, like I said, I have a dog myself. So if I was in this situation, I can't even imagine how it would feel. That's my baby, So I'm just glad that it had a happy ending, and the people involved will face the consequences from their actions.
Definitely. So Jess, tell me, do we have any viewers or comments today?
We don't have any comments today, but as always, you can head to WSLS.com and leave a comment right under the in the comment form under the article. You can also head to YouTube and go to our channel and leave a comment there. And you can also comment on Facebook. Again, we always review all of your comments. We read every single one of them. So it always makes us happy to see people just watching our show and joining the conversation with us, because we love hearing from you guys. So.
Perfecto, Jess. Thank you so much, girlie.
Of course.
Have a good one. All right, guys, before we roll out, obviously, we are following several different things that are happening today. Again, that Weather Authority Alert Day in effect. Keep your, apps handy. Keep your weather app and the 10 News app, and make sure you watch our later newscasts. I do want to give some shout out to this real quick to keep you in mind. Martin Luther King Day is coming up, man. And for those of you who know this particular gentleman, when I tell you, he moved and shaped a lot of ways for that I can have a way to do things nowadays. Martin Luther King Jr., the civil rights people, like everything in that era are the reasons why we are as free as we are. We can just sit at the same table with everybody, no matter what they look like, and just have a good old time. So Rockbridge County is preparing for the 8th annual parade to commemorate Martin Luther King Jr. Parade is put on by Care Rockbridge. Goal is to commemorate the life and legacy of Dr. King. Organizers say that the parade is especially important in Lexington, which obviously with the history of America, there have been things that have happened like awful slavery and you name it, Jim Crow, just different awful deals against African Americans. But yeah, this place happened to be deeply rooted in Confederate ties at one point in time. But with that being said, the parade is set to start at 10:30 Monday morning outside of the Randolph Street United Methodist Church in Lexington. So again, I'm 100% on board with Martin Luther King Jr. Anytime we can celebrate and commemorate him, because again, his dream came to life, and I think it was by the grace of God. Again, you are judging people off of the content of their character, not how they look. You know, I don't understand people who still want to live in a world that wants to be judged based off of their skin right off the bat. That's not me. I don't think it should be. I think, if anything, Dr. King stood for exactly what it should be, which is judge people by who they are. And I think that that's what we should all do as we walk day in and day out, going to and from wherever we're going. So that being said, go outside and love each other. Share everybody. I don't care who they look like or what they look like. Tell them you love them. Say hi. Give them a hug if they're huggers. Do whatever you can. But again, we're all in this together. Thank you so much for joining us on the Morning Sprint today. We'll show you back here tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. WSLS.com.